Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. It's been really lovely seeing everyone back. If you've made it to any of the classes, the indoor classes that are all back now. And it was really nice the opportunity to be able to carry on with these videos still, as what we'll be doing in the videos will be the same thing, the same poses that we're going to be focusing on each week in the actual classes. So today we're looking again at our theme of tapas. We're going to focus a lot again on strength, about feeling out our core, our centre, and about just harnessing in energy and focus when we come to certain postures. So for today's practice, grab anything that you need. You don't need a belt today, but if you've got a blanket or a block, you can have that handy. And we'll move everything out of the way. And we'll start off coming down, lying down to the floor. And first of all, it might feel nice, if it works for the body, to keep the legs bent today, so that we can just take a little bit more weight in towards the earth and feeling quite grounded. So you can either have the feet hip distance apart or slightly wider if you need to roll the knees in towards each other. That's an option as well. And just take a moment to let the hands come to the navel centre, letting your shoulders relax, let your chin tuck in slightly so that the back of the neck is nice and long, and just let some weight go down in towards the earth. And just feel you've got this whole session now, this whole class, to be able to focus and make a really good connection with the body, the breath, the mind and the spirit. So that our class is something that allows us, our yoga practice, to feel this focus, this inner strength that we can cultivate and we can draw on at any time. Letting the face relax, shoulders nice and relaxed. Just start to check in with your breath. And just start to maybe be noticing your rise and fall of where your hands are right now. Letting that tummy, the belly area really just soften and relax as you feel that space that the breath starts to bring into the body. And just being aware of the breath first. And then feeling that breath moving in and out through the nose. And first of all, we're just going to create an equal breath where we're breathing in for the same amount as we're breathing out. So breathing in to the count of 3. Breathing out to the count of 3. Breathing in the count of 3. Breathing out the count of 3. Just carry on a few more rounds, feeling first of all how we can even out the breath. Starting to just gently take this focus of calmness and feeling grounded with the breath. Take your awareness where your hands are, so you really check in, keep connecting to being in the moment, being with the breath. Then we're going to have a few rounds of breath where we're going to start to lengthen the exhale so it starts to become longer than the inhale. So breathing in for a count of 3. And then breathing out if you can for a count of 4. Breathing in for a count of 3. Breathing out for a count of 4. Breathing in for a count of 3. Breathing out for a count of 4. Breathing in for a count of 3. Maybe extending it to a count of 5. Breathing in for a count of 3. Breathing out, maybe to a count of 5. Just do a couple more in your own time, and you can move it back one. You can either be just extending it slightly or starting to work that even longer. And depending on how the breath is, as long as there's no stress or if the breath is going to make you anxious doing that, don't do that. But if it feels good, try to double your length of the inhale, so the exhale becomes double. So breathing in for your 3, and breathing out maybe to a count of 6. Breathing in for a count of 3, maybe extending it to a count of 6. Do one more in your own time. And then let that breath go. Begin to move the body. Stretch out. It's really nice. It's really focusing to be able to work the a little bit of a longer exhale as it gets all the last stale bits of breath out in order for you to take a really good fresh breath. And it's very focusing as well. So really good stretch out. You might be able to move from side to side. You might even allow yourself just to move your ankles and your wrists in one direction. And then moving your ankles and your wrists in the opposite direction. And then bending the knees, take the knees in towards the chest. Just having a little rock from side to side. And then allowing your hands to come behind the back of the legs. Going to lift your legs up from here. And either supporting behind the legs if that's for feeling better for the back, or reaching the arms up. And then we're just going to make a few circles in the wrists and the ankles. Try and really focus on what you're doing, so slowing down the movement. Circling in that other direction from here. So just create a bit of energy in your hips and the muscles first of all. Then just pause for a moment. Bending the knees. We're going to take hold of our outside of the feet or inside, or taking the hands behind the back of the legs. And just taking a moment maybe to find a little bit of a rock, so starting to release out the hips. So for today's practice, it's going to be a lot of hip movements. It's going to be some really nice movements to draw in the core. And thinking about that tapas, how we can build up our practice with dedicated focus and dedicated effort. Go back to the centre, let your feet start to come down to the floor, but bring your soles of the feet together. So allowing your knees to open out to the side. And maybe just for a moment, letting the hands rest on the front of the hips, chin tucked in slightly, and just take a few breaths from here. And use your hands to feel that you use the warmth just to gently soften and release a little bit more from here. If it's option, then allow your arms to lift. You can cross your thumbs and stretch the arms behind you, or you can always keep the arms down by the sides of the body. And then focus on your chest and your rib cage. So feel a nice expansion, a little bit of freedom of the breath in that top part, the midsection of the body and the lungs. And then slowly releasing, let your hands come back by the sides. Going to keep your palms down. Going to press into the feet. We're going to inhale, lift up your hips. And as you breathe out slowly, release the spine back down. We're going to go and inhale, lift up your hips. And exhale to lower down. Do one more to lift up. And then inhale, as you breathe out, find a slight tilt towards your right side. Inhale back to the centre. As you breathe out, slight tilt towards that left side. Coming back to the centre, tilt the pelvis forward, slowly lower back down. Bending the legs and hug the knees in towards the chest. And just pause here for a few breaths as you gently encourage the knees to move towards you. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Releasing the legs, take the feet as wide as the mat. Arms to a T-shape or cat-cow arms. And we inhale as we breathe out, knees drop to the right, head slowly turns towards the left. Inhale back to the centre. Breathing out over towards that left side. Coming back to the centre. Go over towards the right. And this time, if it's an option, pick up the right foot and take it across that leg. And it just stretches into that front leg, that hip a little bit more. And then if you've got that foot across, keep the foot where it is. Just start to bring your left foot back. Then move it back so that you're in a nice alignment. You can move that foot, if you haven't already, take it across that leg. Right hand onto that knee, the outside of the knee, or inside rather, and pressing it away. And you can either keep it here or lifting up the leg and either taking hold of around your thigh, back of the thigh, or reaching up and hands around the shin. I always find it easy to lift my head first and then ease it down and think about really lengthening my neck as I do so. You know, either stay still or having a little bit of a rock from side to side. Try and keep the right foot nice and active. So you was imagining that you was pressing that foot into something. And then slowly releasing, coming down to the floor, releasing that foot. So feet as wide as the mat. We'll take your knees over towards that left side. Picking up that left foot, and if it works, taking it across that right thigh. Arms out to a T shape or cactus arms again, and just stay for a few breaths into that twist. And then bring your heads back from here. You can keep that foot across that leg if it was there. Just start to bring your right foot back in, arms down, and bring that foot closer in. Adjust that leg that's across if you need to. Make the foot nice and active. Left hand presses gently on that left thigh to start to open up more into that hip. And either keeping it here or lifting up the leg. And you might reach round, take hold of around your back of the thigh, or lifting up, take hold around your shin for a deeper stretch. Make sure that the neck's still nice and long. You can either be still or taking a little bit of a rock from side to side from here. And then slowly coming back to the centre, releasing. Start to take the foot down, taking that knee back down to the floor. Pausing for a few breaths and adjusting the spine. You can step your feet in a little bit closer, arms down by the sides of the body. Going to work our bridge, so as we inhale, lifting up. And as you breathe out, releasing your spine back down. And doing a few more and just really exploring your range of movement on your hips and the back of the body. Also feel the stretch that it creates on the front of the body as you lift up. Last movement from here, lifting up. And then releasing all the way back down to the floor. So we're going to keep the legs bent. We're going to cross your right leg over your left leg from here. You can either keep that other foot down or you can lift up the leg. You can always as well press that foot down and adjust your hip so that you move your bottom more over towards that left side. And then we're going to find a twist. You're going to take the knees over towards that left side. Right hand onto the outside of the thigh and your, left arm. And your right arm can extend out to the side. Just a few nice breaths, and hopefully it feels nice on the upper back as well when you come to this twist. And then slowly releasing back to the centre, releasing that foot, feet down to the floor, adjust the spine. So it's going to be your left leg is going to cross over. This time you can either keep the foot where it is or lift in, or you might need to lift up your hips and send them over towards that left side and then bringing them back down. You're going to drop your knees over towards the right side. Right arm's going to come to the outside of that leg. Left arm either into a T shape or cactus arms. You get a really nice stretch on the outside of your left hips from here. Just stay there a few more easy breaths. And as always, you can always support if you need a little bit of props to support or blankets. Use whatever you've got to hand. And then slowly coming back to the centre, releasing the legs. Hugging the knees in towards the chest for a few breaths. Hands on the knees. And we'll just do a few nice circles with your knees from here. And trying to relax your feet and your legs as much as you can. And then moving that direction the other way. So circling out in the other direction from here. And then bringing yourself back. We'll just do a little bit of core work just to engage a little bit of strength in the muscles from here. So you can keep the legs bent. You can keep knees over the hips. And just slightly maybe lifting the legs just until maybe you see the toes so that they're not too low down. And the arms are going to reach up towards the sky. And we'll do our dead bug pose where we inhale, extend opposite arm, opposite leg. The exhale will come back to the centre. So first of all, just inhale. And as you breathe out, drawing the navel in slightly. And then inhale, the right arm extends and the left leg lengthens out. And then breathing out, coming back to the centre. Inhale, opposite arm, opposite leg. You haven't got to take it all the way down. Breathing out, back to the centre. We'll continue to do that, going from one side to the other. And if you find that it's aggravating the back, don't lower the leg too much. You can always work towards bending the leg as well, rather than working towards lengthening it. And feel that you're starting to feel a little bit of strength that you're creating around your front of the body. We'll do a couple more. If you're still doing it, if you need to rest in between, that's fine. And then make this your last one. And then bringing the knees back in towards the chest, just circling your knees this time in one direction first of all. And then circling in the other direction from here. And then coming back, just rolling, take your feet to the floor. You can roll over to one side. And then we'll come up to a nice, easy seated position from here. You're going to allow yourself just to be nice and seated for a moment, nice and lifted. And we're going to be doing a little bit of work in eagle posture today. So we'll just have a little go of the arms, just to create a little bit of space in the back of the body. So take the arms out in front. You're going to take your right arm underneath the left. You can either take hands here, or you can do this position, or you can bring them closer together, or you can always fold, so you take hold of maybe your palms. And then just take a moment to lengthen, sit up nice and tall. Think about grounding down to the earth with your sit bones, drawing in with the navel, and allowing ourselves to think about this lovely feeling of spreading around your shoulder blades from here. Just take a moment to pause from here. We'll just be still. You might feel a little bit of warmth or heat that you're creating around your shoulders. And then slowly releasing. Let the arms reach out. Turn the palms so they face up. Take a nice full breath to lift up. And as you breathe out, hands in towards the chest. If you've crossed the legs, you can allow yourself to lift, uncross, so that the other shin is in front. If it doesn't feel good to sit that way, just go back to where you sat. Arms out again. It's your left arm comes under this time. So remembering your options. This can still work really nice, or bringing back a hand, or even folding so that fingers reach the palm. And then we're going to think about sitting up nice and tall. We're going to take some weight into the sit bones. We're going to draw slightly into the navel. And then we're going to focus some breath and awareness to the back of the body and the shoulder blade. So just feeling them, just spreading and creating space from here. Just take a moment to pause. And then nice and slowly release, extending out with the arms, palms facing up. You can take a nice full breath to lift up. And breathing out, hands towards the chest. And then we're going to extend out our legs from here. So lengthening out with the legs. I'll just get a block as well, just to show you if you do need to support the knee for the next one. So the right leg's going to come across that foot from here. So if it's too much, you can always do a little bit of a support with your knee, or actually a blanket probably work better to fold underneath there if you needed a little bit of support. So if it can be further down if you need to, or those you can wrap in a little bit closer. And then we're going to take a moment just to sit up nice and tall from here. And if it's an option, then we start to go forward. So you can start to walk the hands forward. You probably notice that you won't go very far forward in here. And then just try to soften and relax. So a nice compression in the front of the body. And you notice that as well with forward folds. They're good for your digestive system. They kind of try to keep everything quite healthy by adding just a little bit of light pressure. And then nice and slowly lifting. And we'll take the arms out to the side. So right arm stays down, left one lifts. You can either be on the fingertips or take the palm down further out as we come into a side bend stretch. And then inhale, come back. We'll go over towards that opposite side. And then coming back to the centre, release the leg. And it's the same with your left leg now. So your left leg's going to come over from here. If you want it further down, that's fine. Or those you can wrap it in. So a little bit like the eagle, the eagle legs things, this one, what we're kind of doing from here. And you're going to be nice and lifted from here for a few breaths. You can make that foot nice and active. If it's okay, you can start to go forward. If it's too intense with the weight of the leg on that bottom leg, you can always bend slightly or take a little bit of padding underneath your back knee from here. Just take a few nice full breaths. Focus on the navel area as well. That's getting a bit of that pressure. Then we'll come back to the centre. We'll take your left arm out to the side. Lift up the right one. As we breathe out, we'll take that arm up and over into a side bend stretch. So you want to try and stay rooted with your sit bones. Come back to the centre. So your left arm lifts this time. Inhale. And as you breathe out, over towards that right side. That's it. And then nice and slowly coming back, palms together. And breathing out, hands release. And you can release the leg from here and give the legs a release. The back of the knees feel quite nice. And then we'll roll over. Just bring yourself all the way over to the all fours. Spreading the hands, knees underneath the hips. And we'll take an inhale. Lift your tailbone, lift the front of the body, lifting the head. And as we breathe out, rounding over, gazing back through the legs. So inhale to come through again, let the chest and the heart lift and open up. And exhale to round over. We'll do one more. Inhale to lift. And exhale to round over. Coming back to the all fours. We're going to step our right leg out to the side. And your right hand's going to come to the hip as we twist towards that right side. And you can explore lifting up the arm towards the sky and reaching up into the fingers, drawing into the navel. So feeling the energy that moves through the body as we reach up with one hand and root down with the other. Slowly releasing. We'll do that the same on the other side. So your left leg is going to lengthen out from here And that left hand onto the hip as we twist towards that left side. You can explore again, lifting up that arm and feel the energy that's moving through the hand as you draw in with the navel. You feel rooting down, but thinking about lifting up into that top arm. And then slowly bending, releasing, coming back to the all fours. Take a moment to come into child's pose, sink some weight back, letting your head release down towards the earth. And just stay still and just feel this feeling of letting go in towards the earth. Feeling calm with the breath. Feeling every exhale allows us to stay more rooted, more connected. And then slowly lifting up, coming back to the all fours. We're going to tuck the toes under and pressing up into your downward dog position. And walking back through the heels so the legs start to get a really nice stretch from here. And take a moment to have even weight on your hands and your feet. And then moving forward, shoulders forward of the wrist. You want to press that with the heels into plank pose, drawing into the navel. So that a couple more times. So press back into a downward dog. You can rest if you need. Inhale, come forward into plank pose, draw into the navel. Breathing out, pressing back into downward dog. We'll do one more time just to create a bit of strength and height. Navel draws in. Coming back to your downward dog. You're going to bend the legs, come back down to the floor, release the feet. Let your hands move forward of the shoulders, lowering the hips, bending the arms, and moving all the way down towards the earth. Keeping the hands either under the shoulders or wider and forward if you're doing sphinx. Inhale, lifting up head and the chest. You can keep it low for a few breaths. And then pressing up if you're coming into a fuller cobra today. And feeling that rooted feeling of whatever's connecting to the earth. Staying focused to our practice. And then coming back to the all fours and pressing back into your child's pose for a few breaths. Just stay in there a few more moments. And then we're going to come back to the all fours. We're going to have a few rounds in dolphin pose. So we're going to drop the elbows down to the floor, forearms down, elbows underneath shoulders. And then from here, we can interlock the hands from here. And we're going to tuck the toes under. And we're going to start to slowly feel that you draw the navel in from here. And you're going to gaze back through the legs so that you feel nice and long in the neck. And then you can explore lifting the legs. And either keeping a bit of a bend or starting towards straightening them. And you might even explore walking the feet in a little bit closer from here. Taking a nice good few breaths, feeling that strength of that posture. You can either keep it where it is or allowing your right leg to lift up and away. And then lowering it down. If it's an option, your left leg lifts up and away. And then lower back down. Knees to the floor, release the hands. And just come back to child's pose for a moment. If it feels an option, you can allow yourself to press your palms together, bring your fingers turn in towards the body, and then using that to just lengthen a little bit more into the neck and allowing ourselves just to get a nice stretch across the back of the shoulders. Couple more breaths. And then releasing, pressing up. We'll do one more round of our downwards, our dolphin pose. So elbows underneath the shoulders, interlocking the fingers, tucking the toes under. And we can explore drawing in with the navel, looking back from here, or lifting the knees again. It might be a bit of a bend, or you might be lengthening up from here. If it feels an option, we're going to slowly come forward from here, pressing into the forearms. And then bringing some weight back again. So a moving dolphin coming forward, inhale. Breathing out, coming back. We'll do that 2 more times if you're doing it. Inhale. And breathing out. Inhale to come forward and breathing out to come back. Knees come to the floor first, releasing the hands back to child's pose. Again, if you like that option of palms together, reversing the prayer so that you can take a little bit of weight into lengthening into your neck and feeling a nice stretch onto the shoulders. You can do that option. And then slowly releasing, hands underneath the hips, coming back to the all fours. Tucking the toes under, downward dog for a few breaths. And then bending the legs, slowly start to walk your feet towards the hands on the hips, and moving all the way up. I'm just going to adjust my hair quickly, take a nice few breaths, come into mountain posture. And just feeling that bit of energy that you've created. Feeling maybe that heat, that strength of that dolphin posture. Letting your shoulders do a few shoulder rolls from here. And shoulder rolls forward. So you feel any tension, any tightness, just gently easing away from you. And allow yourself to come to the front of the mat. And then we're just going to separate the feet slightly. We're going to do a couple of half forward folds. So take an inhale to lift up. Breathing out, soften the knees, hinge forward. Inhale, hands on the shins, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Soften the knees. Inhale, lifting all the way up, palms together. Breathing out, hands to the chest, arms down by the sides of the body. Two more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to release forward. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, soften and release. Soften the knees. Inhale to rise up, palms together. Exhale, hands to the chest, and then releasing down by the sides. Last round. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to soften and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soften and fold. Inhale, soften the knees, arms lift, palms together above the head. Exhale, hands releasing, hands moving down by the sides of the hips. We'll do our two warriors from here, so the hips get really nice and warmed up. So we'll come to the front of the mat. We're going to step back with your right leg, left leg's bent, and you're going to find warrior one. So starting to encourage the hips to move round, hands on your hips so that you can feel that you encourage weight to move down, the navel draws in, and then when you feel steady, then lifting the arms, reaching up, taking a few breaths, feeling your centre force, the navel, and the two forces that extend up and extend down. Palms together, hands to the chest, hands to the hips. We'll step that back foot out so it faces toes along the long side of the mat, lining roughly up the heel with the inner arch of that right foot. And then we'll bring body long side of mat, raising the arms, shoulders nice and relaxed from here. Take a few breaths just to get a nice stretch. Palms turn up. We'll take an inhale, lifting up, leg lengthens. Breathing out, bend the leg, open the arm, encourage your palms to move down. So a couple of times, inhale to lift, exhale, open up. Do one more. Inhale to lift, exhale to open up. Hands on the hips, moving back to the front. A few breaths in that warrior one. And then hands on the hips, weight to the front, lifting up that back foot, just holding it for a few breaths into a balance, feeling that focus, that concentration of your balance, and then placing that foot down to the floor. This time it's going to be your left leg is going to step back. So left leg steps back, right foot is forward and that knee is bent. So warrior first of all. Hands on your hip creases, so take some weight down in towards both feet. So really feel the whole of each foot if you can. Raising the arms and lifting up, so you've got your really good base from here. And then bringing the palms together, hands in towards the chest, hands to the hips. Moving out now, so body faces long side. You're going to pick up just that back foot, toes facing out, heel roughly in line with your inner arch, knees directly over that ankle from here. You're going to raise the arms, shoulders nice and relaxed as we find warrior toe. Just a few breaths, and then we'll move it with the arms. And turn the palms out as you inhale, lengthen that leg, reach the arms up and above the head. Breathing out, open it, turning the palms down towards the earth, bending that leg. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to open up. Last one in that warrior. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, staying in that warrior. Few breaths, keep reaching down with the feet, keep reaching out with the arms. Hands to the hips. We can start to turn again towards the front, picking up that back foot, and then come back again into warrior one for a few breaths. Hands on the hips, weight forward, picking up that back foot, and we can start to hop it in. If it's still hovering, holding it there for a few moments into a balance, and then taking that foot all the way down to the floor, giving the legs a little shake out from here. And we'll find out our balance posture at eagle, Garudasana pose. So that's that one where we wrap a foot around. So if you find that the block's going to be helpful, you can take a block to the floor. And we'll take it over towards the right side if you're using it. If you're unable to do it with the legs, then you're going to swap it for a chair posture with your legs. But we're going to do the arms first of all. It's going to be your left leg is over. So your left arm is going to come underneath from here, underneath the right arm. And then whatever option you took when we was playing about with this at the beginning, so it feels good. And either you can swap it to chair leg or soften the right leg, sweeping that left leg over from here. And either planting the toe on your brick or wrapping the foot, or even hooking your big toe around the back of the calf. And then if it's an option, we're going to start to just sink a little bit lower and drawing into the navel. And a really nice one that helps us to find a bit of heat and focus would be, if you do feel steady, to draw your elbows towards the knee and just feel that you harness everything into the centre. And you may be feeling quite warm, that's great as well. Tapas is about feeling the heat in the posture and using the heat to burn away anything that we don't need right now. Lovely, and we'll lift up, releasing that leg. Let the arms release out. Interlock your fingers, you can keep the feet hip distance apart. Take a few moments to just feel this lovely release with the arms, a bit of a counter pose from that eagle arms. Soften the knees, we can start to slowly come forward into a forward fold. Just pause there for a few breaths. Soften the knees, start to slowly lift up, and then releasing the arms down by the sides of the body. If you use your block, we're going to place it over towards that left side. So this time it's going to be your right leg is going to come over. So it's going to be the right arm is going to come underneath from here. Either find in that position or do the hands first of all, as it's a bit easier. You can swap it again to chair pose legs, or taking that right leg over, and you might soften that other leg as you plant that foot down, or you can wrap it round the side, or you can even hook it round a little bit more. And if this is enough for you staying more upright, just stay here and feel what you need to do to hold that balance. Or if it's okay for the back, we can bend a little bit deeper. And last of all, the last option would be to bend even more, so the elbow and your knee starts to draw in. And wherever you are, feeling around your navel centre, feeling the heat and the tapas of a balance, and feeling that we're able to use heat, and when a situation gets hard sometimes, to be able to use that, draw on the strength of that to release anything we don't need. Slowly lifting up, release the leg first of all, then extend the arms out. Interlock the fingers again. If you can, move the fingers along once so it feels slightly different. Rolling back the shoulders again. Soften the knees and slowly coming forward into a forward fold. Head is nice and heavy from here. Take a nice good few breaths. Nice relaxed head. And then nice and slowly lifting up, coming all the way to standing. Releasing the legs. You can move your brick or your prop, whatever you used, away. And then ragdoll arms or hands on the hips if you've got back issues. Rolling yourself slowly down to the floor. You're going to bend your legs from here and come all the way so you're sitting back to the bottoms. We're going to just take a nice forward fold from here, so wide-legged one. We're going to open out your legs from here. And feel free to sit on something or move a bit more so that you find more of a connection with the sit bones to the earth. And take a nice good few breaths from here. Feeling a nice release around your hips. And then you can take the option of taking the hands forward from here and start to slowly walk your hands forward. It might just be a little way. You might even take your hands to the inside of the legs and hold down the ankles, or hands to the inside, but with your palms facing in. And then use that to ease you further forwards. And again, thinking about tapas can be as well about being patient with our practice and knowing that we have to build up things. We start to notice more of a difference if we do things more regularly and more of a habit. And then we notice changes bit by bit. You can always release the hands from here and slowly let your head start to release. And then slowly start to walk your hands back from here. Just allowing yourself to bend the legs from here and taking your feet just to the floor, a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Reach the arms out to the side and just take a moment just to drop your knees from side to side. So a really nice release around your hips from here. Then move back to the centre, feet hip distance apart. Move them in slightly closer. We'll come to our tabletop, reverse tabletop. So Parsvottanasana, either fingers pointing in or hands turning out. Make sure that they're just slightly behind your hips, so you've got room to press into the hand. And your option of either lifting your chest or exploring lifting the bottom, or coming forward and starting to lift your thighs so they're parallel, keeping the hips lifted. You can keep the chin tucked in or releasing the head if you haven't got any neck issues and the head is supported. Then tucking the chin in, slowly start to lower down to the floor. You're going to reach the arms forward. Going to take a roll down to the floor for the relaxation. So reaching out, drawing into the navel, slowly easing down and bending the legs and taking a slow rock from side to side. So a lot of those poses today, especially the balances and the strength, the ones in dolphin, create a lot of focus and a lot of energy that we start to feel that we can hold in the body. Releasing the legs, and you might again like the legs bent again, either feet hip distance apart or a little bit wide, and you can always drop your knees in if you need to. We're going to do a few focused rounds in our relaxation of using energy that we've created in the front of the body. We're going to guide it, bringing this energy to the head, which is a really nice one to feel that you create all this focus, this energy, and move it to a place where we might be able to use it very efficiently. So the hands are going to rest on the belly, fingers just gently pressing down, and then take an inhale to the count of 3. Hold that breath, pick up the fingers, placing the fingers on the forehead with a little bit of light pressure. And then as you breathe out, counting out to the count of 3. Picking up the hands again, hands to the navel area. As we breathe in to the count of 3, feel that you're taking in this energy generated in the solar plexus area. Hold the breath, pick your fingers up, transfer it to the forehead and breathing out for the count of 3. We'll do that again, picking up the hands to a count of 3, breathing in, feeling it being transferred to the fingertips. Hold the breath, lifting up, fingers to the forehead. This time, see if you can count out to 4. We'll do one more, lifting up, hands on the belly, counting in for the count of 3. Really feel you energise what you've created in the solar plexus area to the fingers. Hold the breath, transferring it to the forehead as we breathe out for the count of 4. And then let your hands relax, let the hands rest. You can extend the legs out if you want, just for a few moments. And just notice maybe this focus, this concentration that you create in the yoga practice. It's not simply about allowing more freedom in the body through movements, but it goes a lot deeper than that. It's about this energy that you do create and being able to use it when you need it. You can call upon it any time you like. Slowly let your legs bend, hug your knees in towards the chest, gently rock from side to side, and then roll yourself over onto the right side, extend out the right arm and just rest for a moment, front hands, just a little bit of support down in front. And then bending the arms, use your hands to ease you all the way up and just sit for a moment into your Sukhasana, easy seated position. Take a moment to let the hands rest on the navel area and just focus on that calm, focused, dedicated breath for a few moments. Feeling the warmth in the hand, feeling the energy that you've created in your centre. Let your palms come together and press them in gently as you draw the hands back in towards your chest. Just pause for a few more moments. And then bowing the head down, you can start to blink the eyes open. And as you inhale, lift your head, lift your heart. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the week and enjoy the lovely sunshine that we are expected to get. That will give you energy as well. See you soon.